son John, who was shot in Afghanistan through the neck, and he got a few stitches in the front and a couple of stitches in the back, and that was it. And he was back on his feet. The neck is very, very vital in certain parts, and it looks like his carotid artery was hit. It was the neck. He did slump down, but the immediate amount of blood loss that I saw, it is very, very tough to save someone from that. Not that they're not going to try, but they absolutely had to get him in the ambulance as fast as they could and get him to the surgical center. And then they're going to have to really, really work because that amount of blood loss is unbelievable. And I've seen it overseas in both Iraq and Afghanistan, and it's really hard to survive. So I think there's some challenges there. And I think your witnesses talked about it. Depending on their view from where they were, not sure where he was shot, but the video that they shown really is pretty definitive that it was the neck.
Yeah, when you see a crowd like that, Rob, and this is obviously going to be in hindsight and some Monday morning quarterbacking, but when you see a sight like this, and again, the eyewitnesses we talked to said this was a friendly environment, but it looks like it's pretty open there. Should they have done more? We can see security guards in the front. You'll notice them right there with their sort of arms by their sides. Should there have been more here? And I know this is, again, hindsight.
It's always one of those, until it happens, you're never really thinking about it. Even with President Trump, when you looked at his assassination attempt out, I think there should have been more at that one, and I think they should have reacted a lot differently at that one. But people get complacent, and he's done a lot of these, and he hasn't had a violent encounter like this. So, again, when you're planning something like this, I think now it's really going to change the atmosphere of these. In fact, it was a friendly environment, except for, obviously, a person who brought a gun in. For them to not go through any screening for weapons, again, talks to the complacency of having done this before, and a lot of people showing up, even people that were there to counter him, and no violent encounters before. So until it happens at one time, the first time it happens, everyone's shocked. But now I think it's really going to change the dynamic of everybody speaking that has political connotations of security for it. And it's really going to be a challenge because an open event like this is tough for the Secret Service, and that's all they do. And they have plenty of people to do it.
I did want to ask you this because this is not somebody who's running for office. This is not somebody who's been elected. This is somebody who is a conservative activist, podcaster, huge reach, massive presence on social media, very well known in conservative circles, has a lot of power when it comes to politics on the right. But again, he's never run for office. He's never been elected, and his life is in danger. What does that tell us?
Well, again, we talked about in the beginning that people are starting to take violence into their own hands when they don't agree. And he was out there to have these conversations with both sides, and he enjoyed that. But now it is people feeling that they have to solve things with violence is getting on both sides of the fence. And it's going to get tougher and tougher because you said he's not running for office, so he's an influencer out there, and someone was angry enough to really take this out in this way. And I think it's going to change the dynamics in this country, as we've seen with some of the other political figures. All those ran for office, so I think those were kind of one of those, like, it's turning up, but this one, not running for office, just an influencer, and these influencers out speaking all the time. And I think the security business is really going to have to start taking a look at how do we secure a person like this that has this influence out there, that goes out and likes to have these confrontational events.
Yeah.
How do you secure that? It's going to be super tough to secure.
Yeah. We thank you for that. Stand by for us, because I want to bring in Ray Dawn DeShane. She was up near the front of the crowd when Kirk was shot. Ray Dawn, what did you see?
Well, I was just up there. It was second debate. They were talking about guns and the transgender issue that's going on right now. And all of a sudden we heard it just like a pop. Saw Charlie all of a sudden just kind of lean back. I thought he put his hand up, but looking at videos he didn't. But his eyes went back, his head went back, and I just saw blood. And then I kind of looked back over my shoulder to look up the hill. And then all of a sudden that's a gun, so we're all dropping. So we all get on the ground, and then they're like, okay, you guys need to run. And we got up by the time Charlie was already gone. So they took him off the
were you able to see them sort of take Charlie out after he had been shot?
No, we were on the ground. We were on the ground. I just saw the blood in his head. You know, I saw the shot, heard it, and then yeah, just dropped to the ground.
And when you turned around, you said you looked up the hill and you saw a gun. What exactly did you see?
No,
Was
I
it a
didn't
long
see the
gun?
gun.
Oh,
No,
I'm
I
sorry.
didn't see the gun.
Okay. I misunderstood
Yeah.
you. When you turned up, what did you see up the hill?
Just everybody started to drop. Just everybody started to drop down. Because there was a lot of people there.
And did it sound like the gunshot had come from behind you?
Yeah, it sounded like it came from behind me. I couldn't be 100% sure. I have some permanent hearing loss.
Yeah.
But that's what it sounded like to me.